Hi everyone. I want to talk to you today about a pretty horrific skydiving accident that I had 3 weeks ago on Thursday at Imperial Brava. It's left me with some pretty horrific injuries, and I don't even know if I'll be able to lead a normal life again, let alone skydive. I also want to set the record straight because there's a few rumours going around about the jump, and I also want to apologise to the people that were on the jump because it must have been pretty horrific and scary for them as well. Thankfully everybody walked away uninjured apart from myself. So I was on a 38-way jump in Imperial Brava, multi-plane jump, 2 planes, lead and trail. I was in the trail. I was on the rail as a floater in the door, 6 of us in the door. I was pretty happy with my position. We'd done the jump earlier on in the day and there were no issues, and we were just repeating the jump. As I looked out and saw the first person, the camera person, off the lead plane, I jumped into what I thought was clear air, but instantly felt excruciating pain in my right shoulder. At that time I didn't know what had happened, but the medical evidence now shows that at some point on exit, with my arm outstretched, I was hit underneath the armpit and my shoulder dislocated, with my arm going straight up, out and back. And the injuries are consistent with that. And obviously my shoulder got dislocated. I just felt a lot of pain, but I thought, you know, maybe it's one of those things that you have on skydiving. I tried to carry on heading to the formation, but instead of tracking with my arms behind my back, I put them in front of me to try and protect my shoulder. I think I actually even got hold of my hand at one point to bring it in front of me. As I was heading towards the formation, I realised that actually I was in too much pain to carry on. What I thought I did, bearing in mind I haven't seen the video at all, so this is just from my memory, my recollection of the events under stress. I turned away from the formation and tried to track away from the formation, but as I did so, to try and put my arm behind me, to my absolute horror, I could see that my right arm was just flailing around like a rag doll. I had no idea what was going on. I thought my arm had been ripped out of its socket. I was absolutely terrified. I just couldn't control my right arm. I've never seen or felt anything so awful in my whole life. So I knew I was in trouble. I thought I was away from the formation. I went to try to use my arm to pull, but of course it wouldn't do anything. It was just flapping around wildly. And by then I was over the houses and the canals, and I didn't want to have an AED fire because that would have been pretty horrific, so close to those buildings. So I pulled my reserve. My reserve came out and immediately started to spin, and I actually thought I was going to die. And I tried to put my bad arm up, my right arm up, to get hold of the brake, but it just wouldn't do anything. So I tried to lift it up with my good hand, and my fingers just wouldn't do anything. My arm wouldn't do anything. And I was spinning, and I actually said, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And at that point, I actually wanted to die, because I knew I'd lost everything. Like, I lost my arm, the use of my arm, I lost my career as a skydiving instructor, my career as a tunnel coach, my job in the police and my relationship had all gone, and I just wanted to die. And the only thing that stopped me, the only thing in that split second that made me decide to save my life, was that if I landed on the house, on the canals, then I'd probably be in a worse state than I was if I didn't die. And I wouldn't have wanted to be completely paralysed or that badly injured and still be alive. And so by some superhuman effort, I got hold of my left toggle and I pulled it right down to my hip and locked my elbow out. And at some point in that process, I saw the formation go past me, and I realised how close I was, and I was like terrified about that as well, not for me but for the others. And for that I'm truly sorry, because I honestly thought that I was away from the formation because I would never have pulled if I didn't think I was away from the formation. Anybody who knows me and anybody who's worked with me knows that safety is like my 100% priority, and the care of others. And I would never have done that if I had known that I was near the formation. Anyway, I managed to get the canopy under control and hold it into wind. Somehow, at some point, I managed to tuck my arm into my risers. I don't even know how or when I did that. And the canopy ride was just horrendous, just the whole time thinking about what was going through my mind about what happened. I didn't know what was going on with my arm. The pain was so incredible. I thought I was going to pass out a couple of times. I managed to keep the canopy into wind until 1,000 feet. Then I took it downwind. And then, of course, I couldn't turn to the left because my brake line was as far down as it could be. So I had to let it up slowly so that I could turn to the right, but I was scared that it would start spinning again. But I did that so that I faced back into wind. And by then I was on the wrong side of the runway and I could see the plane underneath me taking off. And I honestly thought I was going to land on the plane. And just at the last minute, I managed to grab the canopy a little bit by using my harness, so that I landed on the grass. And at that point, I just managed to land feet bum and roll on my front and just stayed there until someone came to help me. And I was shouting, "Help, help." Eventually someone came, but I couldn't move my hand and I couldn't move my arm. And I still can't use my hand or my arm properly. I have no feeling in my fingers. And although I can move them a lot better, I can't make a fist. I can't straighten my hand. And I can't control it at all. I can only lift my hand up with help of my other hand. And apparently my nerves up here, my brachial plexus, are very badly damaged. So on the dislocation they got either stretched, compressed. Thankfully I don't think they're pulled out from the root. The MRI shows that that's not likely to have happened. And I'm going to see a nerve specialist on Thursday. So my message really is on the people that I jumped with. I'm truly, truly sorry that I put you at risk, but obviously it was never my intention. And as I say, anyone that knows me knows that I would never ever think about myself over other people. Okay, thanks for listening, and thanks for all your good wishes and everybody that sent me nice things. And I just wanted to add that I've heard There's rumours going around that I went through the centre of the formation, but I absolutely didn't do that. So I hope now that that's cleared that up. Thanks.